Hello everyone, this is Jason from Prime Time Aquatics, and today we've got a tank to rescape. It's the biggest tank we have here in the fish room. It's the 150 gallon on the other side, so stay tuned. Alright everybody, I'm down here and I was going to scrape the glass. I was going to kind of clean up this tank. I wanted to shoot a species profile of one of the fish in this tank, but you know what? I just can't. I cannot deal with this the way this is anymore. There are so many problems with this 150, I don't even know where to begin. We are going to straighten this up a little bit. We're breaking this tank down. We're going to break this tank down. I'm getting rid of all these old decorations, these plants that are probably 7-8 years old. This blue gravel has to go. I think we're going to go with a more natural look. We're going to add some rock work. Unfortunately for plants, I do want something green in here, but we've got a bunch of fish in here that will eat plants. So we're going to run to one of our local fish stores and probably just get some more fake plants to put in here just to have a little bit of green. But we're going to add some rock. I'm going to see if I've got any driftwood laying around. We're ripping this tank apart. There is an under gravel filter plate still in here that is trapping a lot of waste, which is making it really hard to manage algae. I've probably got a half a dozen bristlenose in here. It just doesn't matter. I'm tired of this tank looking the way it is. It's getting redone, so stay tuned. Alright, so we got to kind of take an inventory. I got these rocks in this bin downstairs. I would say there's only a few largish, medium-sized rocks that I can actually use from this bin that are going to go with the style that I want. So let's go see what we've got in the garage as well. Okay, in the garage we've got all of these, and I think all of these rocks could be used probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, 40, 50 pounds. We have a lot of this flagstone. However, I'm not sure I want to use this type of rock in that tank. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this fits in, if it does at all. But definitely the rock we've got downstairs and these rocks, that should give us a pretty decent start. We're gonna need a lot of buckets for this job. So we've got these two Tupperwares here. Those are fairly large. Their job is mostly holding the fish because there's a lot of large fish. A couple of really large tinfoil barbs, ballast shark, the Severums are big. Got to be really careful with the Geophagus and the Frontosa. I'd prefer, oh, this is going to be tough, guys. I've got to get him in and out of there without trying to destroy those incredibly gorgeous trailers. I'm actually pretty nervous about that. If you look at him, I'm really nervous about getting him out of that tank and not ripping his fins apart. That's going to be a tough job. We'll see how it goes. That's going to be stressful. So we've got the bins mostly for the fish. The buckets are going to be for the used plants and the decorations that are coming out, and eventually we'll see if any of it's salvageable. I'm not putting it back in the tank, but maybe they can be used for something else. And then we go over here. I do have a couple 10-gallon tanks, and those 10-gallon tanks can also be used for fish. So we're going to head to one of our local fish stores and see what we can get in terms of, we got to get some gravel. Again, I'm going to use fake plants, so we got to get that as well. Alright, so we're starting to get organized. We got the buckets all lined up. Again, some of them it's just going to be for housing wet stuff, decorations, used plants. We've got to get all that gravel that's in that tank out of there as well. We have all the rocks that we can use. Now this is not, I don't think this is going to be enough. I think we're going to have to make a trip over to the local landscaping place and maybe pick up another 10 or so larger rocks, even bigger than this because it's a big tank. And then as we come over here, we've got tanks and buckets and things set up for housing the fish temporarily. We will run the sponge filters, the fully cycled sponge filters in there. We'll put air stones in there. They're going to be in there for a while. That is going to be, we're not going to move the fish into here until we absolutely have to. And we've got some places we need to go. So we're going to hit some of our, we got to go to landscaping place. We have to go to the pet store to find some more fake plants. And we're going to have to figure out what we want to do with the back of the tank, whether I'm going to paint it or whether I'm going to leave it as is with the background that's already there, which doesn't look too bad. We'll see. All right, everybody, so we've got, this tank is obviously a complete and total mess. We have not had a bare slate like this since we set it up probably about 8 years ago. Obviously we moved the decorations around to gravel back underneath, although it doesn't look like it, we do. But a couple interesting finds. We put this Bumblebee Cat in this tank, oh my gosh, at least a couple years ago. Put it in, never saw it again. Thought it got eaten or it was killed. It's still alive and well. We've got, every once in a while I'll dump a bristlenose pleco in here to help kind of control the algae. It turns out we've got about 8 of them in here. Some of them are small, but they're left alone for the most part. We have a coolie loach in here that I forgot we had. There's a glass cat way back there that I forgot we had in here. So kind of cool. It's like discovering new fish. They're stressed. The biggest problem that we've had so far, the 2 large cave structures that we had, there were a lot of fish in there that would not come out. So the clown loaches were in there, the bumblebee cat, probably about 4 plecos. Getting those out of those large enclosures, that was a major pain. But now we are off and we're gonna go get some new decorations, some new gravel, so stay tuned. Okay, so this is what we got at the pet store. We got some gravel. We actually decided to go with the brown gravel, not the black, because we already had a bunch left over from some tanks that we hadn't yet set up. So that's what we got at the pet store. And then over here, we've got this cooler full of much larger rocks. And the other thing that we're gonna do is we stopped off and got these large 30-gallon totes. We're gonna put the fish in those 2 large 30-gallon totes, and then we could also use those for growing up fry after we get done using them today. All right, we got the boys, they've got nets. We've got a lot of larger fish, so we're going to use the larger nets to get them out. My biggest concerns are 1, that Geophagus, as I mentioned, with this beautiful fins, and 2, the Raphael cat is going to be a little bit of a challenge too. Let me go ahead, guys, if you can move over, Luke, real quick. We've got the 30-gallon totes. They're about halfway full or so. The sponge filters from the 150 are rolling. So now we just got to get the fish in those totes. So who would have thought, all these super fast fish we have in the tank, coolie loaches and tinfoil barbs and ballast sharks, the last fish that we have to catch is this one tiny albino pleco. Oh, you know what, guys? There's another one back there. There's a brown pleco right in the middle. So we got 2 plecos left, and then we will have all the fish out of the tank. All right, everybody. The basement is a colossal mess. I decided to pull the 150 out from the wall. There was a background on there, just the typical kind of paper background that's been on there for 8 years. The glass behind it was cloudy, so it wasn't looking the best. So I figured while we got the tank empty, I moved it away from the wall. I'm gonna go ahead and paint the back before we go ahead and do everything else. So that's my plan next. All right, everybody, so I got the back painted. It took 3 coats of black acrylic paint, but it is done. So we got the background off that was looking kind of bad. Of course, the glass is super dirty, so it's still gonna look not the greatest, but once we get everything cleaned up, it's going to look, I think, pretty good. So now we can start working on the aquascape. All right, everybody, so this is the after. This is the tank, newly revised. We can look over here. Yes, we left the sponge filters in. Again, all of our tanks are run on sponge filters. This also has a hang on the back in the upper left-hand corner just to kind of improve water clarity. So what did we do? The blue gravel is gone, thankfully, and we were going to go black gravel, as I'd mentioned before, but Luke wanted to do more of a natural earth tone sort of gravel, and I'm glad we did. It really made a major impact on the fish, as I'll talk about in a second. The rocks came from our local landscaping place, the wood and the plants came from one of our pet stores by us, but we're happy with the way the tank turned out. Really cool thing, going with lighter gravel, it didn't really impact the color of the Geophagus as much as I thought it would, but it did have a very positive impact on this red shoulder severum. As you can see, it actually finally is showing the red along the head region. The frontosa looks a lot better. The light blue stripes lightened up a lot, so now those are more pronounced. And look at the clown loaches. They're no longer as washed out in terms of their color as they were before. They definitely have a lot more orange. So overall, I would say it was a good thing that we went with the lighter substrate. The fish really responded well to it. You can see here the gold severum still look pretty good. The angelfish also seems to be a little bit lighter. Again, substrate really matters when it comes to the color of your fish. I did a video on it before. I will put a card in the upper right hand corner how to impact fish color. You can see the Raphael catch just kind of chilling out. It was surprising that some of the fish that we had in this tank that we had forgotten we had, like the bumblebee cat, turns out there were 9 or 10 bristlenose plecos in here, and they all went back in. But everybody's getting along. It was a stressful time, so they're still, trying to figure things out. It looks like maybe the bala shark got his eye scratched, maybe with the net, so we got to make sure that heals up properly. But really happy with the way the tank turned out. Again, the Geophagus looking good. And that was a big concern. We wanted to make sure that we didn't tear up his fins in the transfer, and we did. It looks like we did a good job of not destroying his finnage. So this is the tank. Again, we couldn't do Rio plants because a lot of the fish in here will destroy them. The severums for sure. Possibly definitely the tinfoil barbs. The bala shark will sometimes eat plants. So we are happy with the way this turned out. All right, everybody, so that's the redo of the 150. Happy with the way it turned out. There are more rescapes coming in the near future, so if you like this video, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.